for yes, 2 for no. And let me get started. All right, hope you guys can see my screen. Right, so getting good question, what is emotions? We'll get to that through the presentation. A bag, oh, that's a lot. Cool. Anyway, first up, let me present about myself. My name is Kelvin. I'm from Malaysia. I've been playing Magic since 2000, which was in my high school. I became a judge in April 2017, and I'm still a level 1 judge till now. Outside of Magic, I'm married with 1 kid. I live and work in Kuala Lumpur. I used to be a practicing lawyer in the Malaysian bar. However, now I'm more of a legal counsel and advisor of sorts. So the goal of my presentation, of course, I am not here to judge your emotions or give you any validation of sorts. I'm not qualified for that. However, my goal here is just to make it more aware to each of us that emotions play a very important part when we are resolving conflict, especially during judging or events, and how to, once you acknowledge it, you are able to better understand the situation and maybe handle the situation a bit better or differently than you currently are. So first things first is we have to understand conflict. We have to understand that number one is conflict is normal. It is a part of everyday life. There will always be a situation where 1 or 2 people do not agree. And especially as a judge, it's our job to sometimes handle these conflicts that happen between players and provide a way out. The key is not to avoid conflict, but to learn how to resolve it in a healthy way. So that is why we as the arbiters will usually have to be neutral and resolve any situation that may arise while judging. When it is mismanaged, it can cause great harm, which could cause rifts in relationships, problems that may arise in the future, and such. Whatever the cause of disagreement and disputes, we have to learn conflict resolution skills to minimize and handle the situations best. So conflict 101. Conflict is more than a disagreement. It is a situation where both parties perceive a threat. Whether the threat is actually real or perceived, it's up to the person. What is considered a threat or to one person might not be considered a threat to another. So we take it differently. Sorry, I have to apologize for the background noise. I do not have a private room to do this presentation due to certain circumstances. It will hopefully go away soon. Moving on, conflicts continues to fester when ignored. Because conflicts involve perceived threats or to the well-being, as humans, if we do not resolve these conflicts, we might tend to think about it. I mean, I know I, for one, have thought about situations or conflicts that I've faced in the shower and think of ways to overcome it when at that time I did nothing. So when you do nothing, it tends to stay with you for a long time. Sometimes. We respond to conflicts based on our perceptions of the situation. So that's why it's not necessarily an objective view. Again, it's a very case-by-case situation where each individual will perceive it differently. So how we manage it will have to depend on the situation. So when we are in a conflict, it will trigger strong emotions depending on the individual. Again, these strong emotions come based on your upbringing, your background, even your own characteristics. So each person will respond emotionally to a conflict differently. Some might get angry, some might get quiet and reserved. I understand that you can see this a lot in different players, where some players will be very verbal and aggressive, whereas some players might just keep quiet and not say anything despite having all the information. So if you're not comfortable with the emotions, it will not allow you to resolve situations to the best of your abilities, because emotions will sort of blind your judgment. Right, I have a short video, but it is not playing on presentation, so I will share a link for you to have a look. It's a 3-minute video, so have a look and we'll continue after you have viewed the video.
Been trying to reach out. Been trying to reach out to you all day. Are we on for tonight? Jeez.
What? You can't catch me. You can't catch me. I'm Lance Moore. Touchdown, bitch. What? Pause. Shoot. Keegan's been texting me. Sorry, dude. Mr.
Sorry, dude, missed your texts. I assumed we'd meet at the bar. Whatever, I don't care. Whatever, I don't care? The fuck is his problem? Do you even want to hang out?
Do you even want to hang out? Oh.
Like I said, whatever? Fuck this guy! Jesus, you
are fucking priceless. Aww.
You're the one who's fucking priceless? This motherfucker right here. Oh, he wants to. Oh, okay. You want to go
right now? Huh. Guess I could do that. Okay.
Okay, let's go. He said, okay. Okay, let's go. All right, you know what? You know what? You want to really
do this now? Keegan, you nut. You're not putting me out.
Fuck yeah, let's do it. Oh, you fucking asshole.
First round's mine.
Oh, no. Oh, no, there gonna be no rounds, asshole. It's gonna be a fucking street fight.
Because tonight we got a party at your party.
No! Buddy! Like I said, first round's mine. A beer and a gimlet. My partner, right? What's that? I got you a baseball bat with nails in it.
For my post-apocalyptic Jackie Robinson costume, how did you know?
Okay, I'll put up a quick poll. Most people are quite done. So yeah, the reason I show this video and bring up the whole question is because stress and emotion will play a very big part in managing conflict. Because as you can see from the video, Both people were reading the same text messages, but the responses were very different because of emotion. One guy was already angry at the start, where the other person didn't respond to his messages, while the other person was very relaxed and chill. And his responses, as he read them, was very different. So when we communicate with someone, the big part, of course, is the verbal part, where what you say. Secondly, is your tone. Tone plays a very big part as well as your body language. So when you are stressed out, or when you have strong emotions running through you it inhibits your ability to read the subtle cues that comes from body language or from tone. Of course, when you are angry, everything seems to be a sort of an attack. Whereas when you are chill and relaxed, everything is fine, and we are able to better understand the situation. So we move on to managing stress and emotion. So when we are in a conflict, it triggers very negative emotions in some people, in most people. I mean, there are some people who would consider it a challenge and be positive, but as usual, it's always a negative emotion because, as mentioned earlier, you perceive a threat by another person. So when you have very strong emotion, it affects your communication. Um, if you are very angry, you will be very loud. If you are sort of scared, you'll be quiet. You will not say anything. You will just cover. Um, at the same time, you are not able to read the body language and the subtle cues from the other person. So the ability to successfully resolve conflict based on your emotions is, number one, is you have to keep alert and keep calm. How do we keep calm? Because it's not easy when you want to suppress your emotions of sort, uh, which I will come to later. How to understand that you are stressed, and how to a certain few tips to keep calm. You have to take control of your emotion and behavior. And the first part of always taking control is understanding that it is there. Acknowledging that you are angry, acknowledging that you are scared, acknowledging that you are nervous helps a lot. Sorry. Feelings, expressions, and words are very important when conveying your message. Why did I ask? Were you nervous when you first judged your event? Because most probably everyone will be nervous because we don't know what's going to happen. So we try to do our best, but the feelings is there. Acknowledging that nervousness helps, so that you can, manage it. For my first judging event, of course, I was very nervous. In fact, for me, to this day, I'm nervous before an event. Uh, this nervousness has caused me to make certain wrong decisions, which I would not have made in hindsight, when you can think clearly. So that's why it's always nice when there's another judge along to help you out. And of course, always as a judge, use respectful words and actions. When you are judging, you are of authority. It's always nice to joke around, but understand that what you do at that time impacts the whole judging scene, as like all the judges around. It gives an image. So, last not to mention, when you use respectful words and actions, you help to put the person at ease when handling a situation. The two core skills are in regards to emotions and stress, which is emotional awareness, and another one is quick stress relief. We'll get to it. Number one, emotional awareness. So this is the awareness of your emotions and your experiences, and ability to manage your feelings appropriately. As mentioned before, non-verbal communication is very important, and being aware of your emotions will help you understand that you are being compromised at the time. I think someone just joined. Hello, welcome. And to continue, why emotional awareness is a key factor in resolving conflict. So stress and emotion, as mentioned throughout, stress and emotion will interfere with your ability to understand and perceive communication. So it will accurate, if you are able to control this, you would be able to avoid all these situations where emotions will restrict your ability to accurately read another person's communication. Um, it will limit what you hear from someone and what they are really saying. It will limit your ability to be aware of your surroundings and own feelings. Uh, it will inhibit your ability to be in touch with your deep-rooted needs, and it will definitely inhibit with your ability to communicate your needs clearly. Which is a very big part of all judging, where you have to take time and understand the situation. So emotional awareness in conflict resolution is you have to be able to understand what is troubling others, what is troubling you, how to stay motivated until the conflict is resolved, because it's very easy to lose interest or to just want to not be involved in the situation. How to be effectively communicate, and also how to influence others. Influencing others, of course, as a judge, you need to handle the situation, and you need to be able to, in a way, get the other person to see and see the argument from whichever side you want. So I think we will take a short break here with a poll question. I know a lot of you have judged a lot of events throughout the years. How many of you still get strong emotions at the start of an event? Yes. Okay. Hunger is a bit different, but I mean, you could eat, so that's a easy enough fix. But understanding why you get hungry might be helpful as well, because you might be getting hungry more out of like maybe depression eating, or just the fact of nervousness and having butterflies in your stomach that makes you hungry. Maybe you might not actually be hungry. Yep, walking helps, clears your mind, keeps you going, which I'll talk about later in my presentation. I personally always get nervous before a judge event. Of course, be concerned about giving wrong rulings, not handling the situation properly. Usually, the nervousness stems from the fear of the unknown. So yeah. Yep, keep doing stuff, keep busy. Some people prefer to take their minds off the situation. Right, thank you, Felix. That's a very good advice. Approach team lead, talking about it. Yep, that's a great system. Well, for short-term, eating candy would help, but understanding why would help you avoid diabetes. So, but yeah, there'll be short-term fixes and long-term fixes that we could do. Felix, it's 2020. What can go wrong is a very big question this year. Yeah, I know. But yeah, yeah, actually, that's very true. What could go wrong, right? What's the worst thing that could happen from judging? Uh, for me personally, it's the nervousness is just not knowing what's going to happen. But once the actual event starts, and I get uh, walking around, talking, and it goes away once you get the hang of it. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's get back to the presentation. Okay, so we can identify the root cause of the problem through nonverbal communication, such as expressions, gestures, postures, and tone. So expression-wise is like, for example, I'm speaking to you now through Discord, and you can hear my voice, you can hear my tone, but you cannot see my expression. So my expression would actually tell a big part of how I feel as well, which is the same with when you are answering to a judge call or interacting with other players, right? Their expressions of, I mean, most of the time players are very nice. They are quite respectful and they speak nicely and they just want to resolve the situation as well. But if you read their expressions, you might get a subtle hints of something else there. Um, I think a lot of you more experienced judges have done investigations, and you would be able to tell whether it was an honest mistake on the player's part or whether the player was actually doing something with bad intentions. This is the same for gestures. Uh, for example, a person that is very excited and lively might be use a lot of gestures to get his point across, and you can see from his gestures whether what he's trying to say is accurate. Posture, of course, open posture, standing up straight, is very different than someone who's bent over, someone who's not looking you in the eye, and finally tone. All this four will have to convey the intentions of the persons um, who is speaking to you. And from all these combinations, you'll be able to tell a better picture than what you would be able to tell if one of these were missing. Again, I'll refer back to the video that we watched shortly. earlier, where the only information they had was text, SMS, and they were not able to see each other's emotions, where if they could, they would better understand the message that was being trying to send through. So skill number 2, quick stress relief. So first, we of course, before we move to quick stress relief, we have to understand what recognize stress, or rather recognize when you are stressed. So as you can see, there are 3 types of situations that may arise, responses to stress that may come. So there's the foot on the gas, where you are angry or agitated when you respond. You're overly emotional and unable to sit still. It's a very outward reaction to stress. So this is quite, you can see this quite easily in people because they are very explosive. Whereas the foot on the brake is the person will be withdrawn or depressed, and they will not respond much. This is harder to see because people would tend to just keep quiet and you would take it as they have nothing to say, whereas they might actually still have something to say. It's just that they're shut down and they space out, and they're basically, the energy kind of leaves their body. Foot on both gas and brake is in the instance where outwardly they do not show anything. They are frozen or tense and they don't do anything per se, but inside they are quite agitated and angry. So this, if you can understand which category you fall into, like I personally would fall under the foot on both gas and brake, because outwardly I would not react, whereas inside I would be angry and festering, and that shows that I am stressed in the situation. So these are a few stress responses that you can do, that you might have, and what you can do to do that is opposite of it. So of course, as mentioned earlier, you could be overexcited, angry, agitated, or overly emotional, or you could be underexcited, depressed, withdrawn, and in general, just keep everything to yourself. So it might seem obvious when you're stressed, because at times it's like a fragile state, and you've forgotten what it feels like when you were calm. Because when you are angry, that is your feeling at the time. So, but when you can recognize and you listen to your body, understand that, oh, I'm not balanced at the moment, I'm not calm, you can understand it better. So sometimes you feel tired, your eyes are sleepy, you might want to rest, or when you're happy, you laugh. So these are very outward cues, but sometimes the inward cues are harder to understand. So you have to understand your body a lot. And again, it depends to each individual. Some very easy ways to also see whether you are stressed is, are your muscles tense or sore? Is your stomach tight, cramped? How about your hands? Are your hands free? Are they clenched? How about your jaw? Is it clenched? One example is, if you have just eaten and suddenly you're hungry again? Then of course, another one we can go to is your breathing. Is it shallow? Is it fast? Are you still breathing as normal? Okay, so once you understand and you get these responses, there are certain things you can do on the spot to relieve stress. Oops, sorry. Anyway, there are a lot of tips for stress relieving. For example, there are long-term and short-term solutions for this situation. Long-term ones would be, of course, the best one is always exercise, meditation, keeping active. And of course, you can read if you want, watch television. For the short-term situations, like for example, when you are judging, the easiest one, of course, is to take a deep breath, count to 10 to calm down the situation. Understand that you do not have to interact with the situation immediately unless it's an emergency. So if there's, for say, an unruly player, you can always calm yourself down before interacting with that person, because it's not easy to deal with someone who's unruly and you come in angry and all heated up, and it just makes the situation worse. Another good example, fast release situation is laughing. So it's hard to be anxious when you're laughing. So it relieves your stress symptoms and lets your body calm down so that you can better read the situation. That's why you see a lot of people would resort to humor when in a tough situation to kind of diffuse the situation, because when everyone is kind of, it doesn't have to be like a huge chortle, but the fact that everyone is laughing or smiling, it helps reduce the situation by a lot. So these are quick situations. Of course, if you're judging in big events and you understand that you're very stressed, by all means, please approach your head judge or your judging buddy, as Felix has mentioned, to talk the situation or to basically help us for their assistance to deal with the current situation. Because not everyone can calm down very fast. It takes time. So if you have a judging buddy or head judge to help handle the situation, it's much better. Usually it's easy for us because we are, as a judge, we are always a third party that is brought into a existing conflict, but sometimes you might be directly involved, and that is always not good. So as I mentioned before, there are three types of stress responses that you could have, which is the outwardly aggressive, the inwardly, and the one that is kind of both. So your stress relief, the best stress relief for you would be the one that is an opposite of what you are. So say if when you're stressed, you get aggressive and explosive. Something that would help calm you down is to do reading, so that it helps you calm your situation. Whereas someone who's always depressed, exercise might be the best for you because it helps you move your body and get up and going and releases the energy, which is the same for the third option, which is outwardly like calm but inwardly building up. So it helps you release that energy. I can't say which is the best specifically for you because again, each person responds to stress differently, and each person will have a different way of dealing with it that works best for you. So that's why understanding your emotions is a very big part, so that you know what fits for you, and of course, what you do should for stress relief should be enjoyable and help you in the long term. Anyway, I think that is all for me. Right, so to get the mindset of distressing, that's a very good question. Thank you, QJ. Of course, that's where the short-term one comes in, deep breathing. Because when you're angry, you tend to do shallow breaths and it affects your way of thinking. Take a deep breath, laughing, or basically removing yourself from the situation and letting the energy burn off in a safe way. Some people might find punching or doing exercises, which you could do. I mean, for the short term, that's to just basically de-stress at the time. Again, if you find it hard to read, then maybe reading is not for you. But always find what works for you. So if you have that built-up energy, pent-up energy that you want to use up, go for a run, exercise, or even just talking to someone and sharing your thoughts with a friend just to release all that built-up emotion will help. Any other questions? I see some people typing, so we'll give them some time to type out their questions, if any. Yep, that's right. Stay awesome. Okay, success stories. So far in judging events, well, I had that one event. I can share this experience. Uh, as mentioned before, I was quite nervous, and I made a judgment call that kind of affected the players' uh, play. In that, he asked me a rules question, and I gave the wrong ruling, and he lost the game. So the player approached me after the round and told me that he actually lost because of my wrong ruling, and I apologized. Of course, at the time when I received that news, it made me very angry, confrontational, because, of course, the first response would be like, no, I can't be wrong. I have to be right. What is this guy talking about, sort of thing. Uh, but I had to remain calm because I am a judge and I have to be professional. And I just apologized and told the player that um, if he wishes to take a next action, he can always lodge a complaint against me with visits, because this was before Judge Academy. That he could always lodge a complaint, and we will let the at the time visits handle it. But the player just said no, it's okay. He just wanted to point out that my ruling was wrong and hope that I don't mistake. So that was very nice of the player itself. So if I had become strong, if I had instead decided to respond aggressively and say no, and or maybe tell him that he's wrong or something, I don't think the interaction would have gone that way. So yeah, understanding that how you would react is a very big important, which stress plays a very big part in it. Of course, like I said before, I used to be a lawyer and I used to go before judges, and also I have a bit more experience of how reacting based on your emotions is a very bad option. So it can be done with practice, how to control your emotions. Yeah. But yeah, understanding that you are in a stressful situation and that you are stressed helps a lot. And to be able to calm down in the instance is always good. Okay, if there's no further questions, I think I will end my session. I hope I was a bit of help to some of you, not all. And keep thinking about your emotions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Calvin, for that presentation.